There are consequences when we are misaligned with God-given authority. Some people have got this thing of like, oh no, I'll just do my own thing and it's fine. God understands. I want to warn you, there are consequences. In Numbers chapter 12, 1-10, Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife, for he had married a Cushite. Has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Can you see the impact of the familiar spirit when you become familiar? Has the Lord spoken only through Moses, they asked? Hasn't he also spoken through us? And the Lord heard this. How many feel that God hears our murmuring? God hears our whining. God hears what's discussed in secret in your houses, in your homes, right? And the Lord heard this. And the Lord is not impersonal. He's got a viewpoint about things, right? Now Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. Okay, now Moses was the one who wrote the book of Numbers, so he's talking about himself here. But he was humble, guys. At once, the Lord said to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, come out to the tent of meeting, all three of you. So the three of them went out. Then the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud. He stood at the entrance to the tent and summoned Aaron and Miriam. When the two of them stepped forward, he said, listen to my words. When there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly and not in riddles. How many of you know that God doesn't speak to everyone in the same way? Even with his disciples, he says, to you I speak to you plainly, but to them I speak in parables. He doesn't use the same approach for everyone, ladies and gentlemen, right? Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? I don't know if you've noticed, but you'll never hear me bad-mouthing another pastor from this pulpit. I'm very careful what I say. I will talk about doctrine that's not correct. I'll talk about various things, but you will never hear me saying, yeah, and then those guys over there, yeah, I'm concerned because, yeah, that guy in that church, I won't. I'm careful. With the same measure you judge, you'll be judged. They were bad-mouthing Moses because of the woman he had married, because she was a Cushite. So there was some racism there. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? The way people ridicule and mock presidents of nations. Why do we do that? Our job is to pray for them. You might not agree with their policies. You might have issues with them. But it's like there's no, even amongst Christians. And it's like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just go along with everyone. Why are we not afraid of just saying, that's the president we're talking about? What do we gain when we mock leaders? The anger of the Lord burned against them, and he left them. When the cloud lifted from above the tent, Miriam's skin was leprous. It became as white as snow. Aaron turned toward her and saw that she had a defiling skin disease. The God of the New Testament didn't have a midlife crisis. I'm telling you right now, for some people right now, there's sicknesses coming upon people that demons didn't have to do anything about. It's because something lifted off their lives, a covering lifted because of how they related incorrectly to the authority over them. Are you hearing me? And that's why sometimes when we minister healing, when we minister deliverance, etc., we have to get people to renounce some of these things and to get right in how they relate to authority, and then the breakthrough comes. This is how familiarity affects people.